This story is about a school janitor who secretly paid for students' lunches for over 20 years. The school didn't even know it until one day they decided to check. They found that he had paid off more than $48,000 worth of debts. After they posted about this online, their alumni raised $250,000 to pay him back. He was also given an award named after him. So here's the full story. It was an ordinary day at the high school when the principal received a call from the cafeteria manager. She was calling because she had a problem. Over the past few months, the number of unpaid student meals had been increasing. If this trend continued, they might have to close the school cafeteria down. This wasn't something the principal wanted to do because the cafeteria not only served food, but also functioned as a place where students could socialize and hang out. But since there was no other option, the principal decided to post about the situation on the school's Facebook page. As soon as the post went up, comments started pouring in. It turned out that many of the school as alumni were aware of the issue, and some of them even knew who was behind it. According to them, it was the school janitor, Mr. Williams. Everyone loved Mr. Williams. He had worked at the school for over 30 years and always seemed to have a kind word for everyone, but no one had any idea what he did with the money he earned. Well, except for the person who was supposed to take care of him. Mr. Williams had a son. His name was Michael, and he often bragged about his father's incredible work ethic. But he never really understood why his dad didn't spend the money he earned. One day, though, while going through his father's things, Michael discovered the truth. He found an old shoebox with receipts from the cafeteria. At first, Michael thought that these receipts were just some sort of weird hobby his dad had. But then he started adding them up and realized what was really going on. He immediately called the school and asked if they could go through the records of unpaid lunches. The school was happy to help and quickly found the receipts. They discovered that Mr. Williams had paid off more than $48,000 worth of lunch debts in the past 20 years. That was a huge amount of money, and the school didn't even know how to react. But before they could think of something, Michael spoke up. He told the school that instead of thanking his father, they should rename the cafeteria after him. The school agreed and made an announcement on their Facebook page. Immediately, former students started coming forward, wanting to pay Mr. Williams back. In total, they managed to raise $250,000. And although that was way more money than Mr. Williams could ever need, he was very grateful for the gesture. When Mr. Williams heard about the plan to rename the cafeteria after him, he was deeply moved. He couldn't believe that people would want to do so much just because of something he had done. He was a humble man and never did anything to draw attention to himself. All he did was try to make sure that no child went hungry during the time they spent at school. One day, Mr. Williams came across a group of students who were eating lunch outside. He walked up to them and said, "I challenge each of you to perform an act of kindness for someone else." The students were puzzled by his request, but they knew how generous he was, so they agreed. As they were about to walk away, Mr. Williams stopped them and said, "Remember, the greatest pleasure in life comes not from what we receive, but from what we give." These words stuck with the students, and they began thinking of ways to pay Mr. Williams back. They decided to start a crowdfunding campaign and were shocked by the response they got. Within just 2 days, they had raised enough money to buy Mr. Williams a new car. But he refused to accept it. Mr. Williams was a simple man who didn't need or want anything expensive. He was happy with what he had and didn't understand why anyone would want to give him a new car. The students didn't give up, though. They kept trying to convince him until finally he agreed to accept the money if they would also donate some of it to the school. The students accepted, and Mr. Williams was very grateful. He was also very proud of the fact that the students had come up with this idea themselves and were doing all this to honor him. It meant a lot to him that they appreciated what he had done and wanted to show their gratitude. But while the students were busy raising money for their beloved janitor, they had no idea what kind of man he really was. Michael decided to do some digging and discovered that his dad had been paying for students' lunches long before he had even started working at the school. In fact, he had been doing it for almost 50 years. The whole town was shocked by this revelation, and everyone began wondering where Mr. Williams had gotten all that money from. It turned out that he had saved every penny he earned from his previous job as a construction worker. He had worked hard his entire life and never spent any of his money on himself. Instead, he used it to help others, especially children. After hearing this, the students felt even more guilty about not knowing about Mr. Williams's situation sooner. They had taken his kindness for granted and hadn't realized that he was struggling financially. But now they were determined to make it up to him. They came up with a new plan and began working on it day and night. They didn't want to give up until they had done something truly special for their hero. Finally, the day arrived when they presented Mr. Williams with his gift. He was completely surprised and overwhelmed by what they had done. The students had organized a huge party in his honor and invited everyone from the town. There were speeches, music, food, and drinks, and Mr. Williams felt like a king. He was so touched by the love and appreciation shown to him by the community that he broke down in tears. In his speech, Mr. Williams thanked everyone for coming to celebrate with him. He told them how much their support meant to him and how proud he was of the town's generosity. He also shared some words of wisdom with the young people, encouraging them to always be kind and helpful to others. Mr. Williams knew that his actions had inspired the students to do something great, and he was happy to see that they had taken his message to heart. The students continued to honor Mr. Williams in different ways. Some of them started volunteering at the local food bank. Others began visiting nursing homes to spend time with the elderly. And some even started their own fundraising campaigns to help other people in need. Mr. Williams was so proud of them and knew that his legacy would live on through their actions. As the years passed, the story of Mr. Williams became a thing of legend in the town. People would often tell stories about his kindness and generosity to remind everyone of the importance of helping others. The students who had organized the party for Mr. Williams went on to do great things in their lives. They became doctors, teachers, firefighters, and police officers, always remembering the lessons they had learned from their hero. And whenever they saw a child going hungry, they would make sure to help them. Quiet heroes deserve the loudest applause. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more stories of hidden kindness.